Previously, we focused on reforming a nation as a whole, becoming the strongest nation in the world, and also the largest. But with new nations coming to light, for example the German Empire, that number one spot might vanish. That's why in this video, I plan on doing some more expansion, and those reforms will come in handy. We're not only going to try and expand into Europe, but we're also going to expand into other continents like Asia and possibly Africa. So let's see what we can do and enjoy. Normal independent beginning is extremely railroaded, so that's why I've created factions like the Allies, Central Powers, and our own faction. And I'm also going to allow countries like Germany, the UK, etc. to do their own expansion, not only us, just to make it more challenging on our behalf. In normal independent beginning, and historically, you have to wait till 1873 until you can get rid of all Central Asian countries, for the Russians at least. So why wait? These nations are extremely weak compared to the mighty Russian army, hence we shall obliterate these puny little nations. And that took literally just a few seconds to get rid of 2 nations instead of waiting for 2 years. Well, all of Central Asia is under Russian control. Nice. Now I'm not going to focus only on expansion in this video, I'm also going to do some diplomacy. Starting with the Qing. I'm exchanging these territories for them to join a faction. Why would the Qing do that? Because I'm going to help them gain their former Chinese territories. Hopefully they can reunite the Qing dynasty. Now the Qing started on eastern nations like Xibei Sangma and those other nations in Xinjiang. Now I'm going to join them because their army is pretty weak, not to mention they've only got very limited factories. Now this war wasn't only beneficial for the Chinese, we also gained a small territory up north, right here. It's not much, but it's still territory. Surprisingly, throughout history, the Russians really didn't do any colonial expansion, especially in Africa. Well, I think there were a few illegitimate Russians who were sent over to Somalia, but in this video I plan to do some legitimate Russian colonial expansion. Now, Africa is a pretty large continent. We can do colonization in the Congo or the Gambia, but what's closer to us is parts of East Africa. Now, Zanzibar is pretty populated, and I think that's where we're going to start our first Russian colonization of Africa. Now that I think of it, we have got quite the threshold of colonial power. That's why I'm going to expand our colony further up the coast of East Africa. This is the final result of our colonization. It's small, actually no it's not, compared to nations like the Germans. They haven't done any colonial expansion at all. Now other Chinese warlords were also fighting amongst themselves. Now the Qing are at war with the rest of China, so I'm going to help them.
Повторить этот огненный путь. Мы свято дорожим доверием народа, и верность наша славной родине крепка. Недаром с декабря 17-го года мы носим имя гордое ЧК. звучит приказ, тревоги без отбоя, и жены, как всегда, с привычной верой ждут. Товарищ дорогой, не зря же нас с тобою по-старому чекистами зовут. Не беда, что в висках седина, и порой до утра не уснуть. Мы готовы с тобой, старина, повторить этот огненный путь. О наших именах не прочитать в газетах, но что прошла беда над миром стороной, пусть до утра не спят в рабочих кабинетах майоры с генеральными.
And the Qing dynasty remained victorious over all Chinese warlords. But why stop there? These borders for the Qing dynasty don't look as majestic as they used to. That's why I'm going to invade Tanatuva, Mongolia, and Tibet.
Не беда, что в висках седина, и порой до утра не уснуть. Мы готовы с тобой, старина, повторить этот
And just like that, Mongolia, Tanatuva, and Tibet have all been defeated. We have taken Tanatuva for our own, and Tibet and Mongolia have been annexed and assimilated into the Qing dynasty. Now, those unification wars didn't only affect and benefit the Qing, but also us and our faction. Now, I failed to see that countries like Germany, the UK, and France have done their own expansion in Africa while I was fighting in China. Thus, we shall just do our own expansion in other regions besides East Africa. I'm going to start in Angola and parts of coastal Congo. But that's not all. We're also going to do some expansion in the Gambia regions, because they haven't really been affected that much by the French and the British. Well, all coastal parts of Africa have been colonized, so I basically changed these borders with the tool pack. I don't know if it was that fair. We got Middle Africa, like the Germans wanted to in our timeline. The British expanded to the south, and that's practically it. The faction sizes have considerably changed. Well, it appears that the Germans have declared war on the French once again. That means the Central Powers are at war with the Allies, just like World War One, except we aren't helping the Allies. We're not helping no one. We're going to stay neutral throughout this war. I'm curious to see what the outcome of this war is. The first few weeks of the war, it would appear that the Germans, along with their allies like the Italians and the Austrians, would absolutely obliterate the French. Now, they would also declare war on the entirety of the Benelux. Unlike in World War One, they included the Netherlands. Now, it would appear that the French, along with the Benelux, have all been defeated, but that's not the main issue. The Allies have ceded territory to the Germans in the British mainland, and a few weeks would pass and the Allies would cease to exist. And the real question is, will I be single for the rest of my life? Maybe. Now, it would appear that the Germans showed absolutely no mercy during the peace conference. They annexed or puppeted everything that the Allies owned. But that's not going to stop us, the mighty Russians, from diving headfirst into a bloody battle with the Germans. And their allies, obviously. That war was surprisingly much easier than I expected it to be. I anticipated that the Germans would have all their divisions lined up against our border, but it appears that they were still left in England. Since the Germans showed no mercy to the Allies during their peace conference against them, we're going to do the exact same to the Central Powers. Now, all of Africa, all of Canada, basically all of Oceania is under our control. We have demilitarized some territories in Austria and Germany to make sure that they will never rise up again. This video has been quite chaotic, but Alexander II has accomplished quite a lot in his reign as leader of the Russian Empire. We've got by far the largest empire throughout the entirety of human history. We have defeated Chinese warlords, which wasn't that hard, but we surprisingly defeated the entirety of the Central Powers in a matter of seconds. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and the last one, and